SoundCartel.
From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Family-run businesses hold a special place in our hearts and the economic landscape, particularly ones that are multi-generational. So what are their unique challenges, concerns and desires? Well, much of that is revealed in the latest Pronto Software Barometer Survey, produced by peak body Family Business Australia. CEO Catherine Sayer says not only is it revelatory, but can help guide the organisation's advocacy with governments. She explains how some legislation impacts family businesses more than others, but first describes the survey itself to Jeff Waters.
It's called the Pronto Software Barometer Survey. So Pronto Software is a partner, a national gold partner of Family Business Association, and every 2 years we do a survey with them. And this year we particularly focused on some key issues that family businesses are facing.
Such as?
So, a couple of things. One of the questions that I thought was really interesting is, what's keeping you up at night? And the top 4 responses we got out of that was future vision, goals and strategy of the business, improving business efficiencies and operations, and then specifically around family business, balancing the needs of the family versus the needs of the business, and then managing growth. So it's really interesting that there are common business issues within family businesses, and then there's the breakout of what is specific to family businesses. And we also asked them what factors they attribute to the success of their business, and strong family values came out as number 1, which is really interesting. Then dedicated team of employees, customer loyalty, and innovation and adaptability. So those first 3, again, sort of sit really nicely within each other because you've got the family values and then the dedication of the team and customer loyalty. So that was a really interesting one. And long-term goals for the family business around financial security for future family generations. So very much that mindset of generational businesses and making sure that you're setting things up for the future generations. And then also planning for a successful exit strategy. So that can mean a whole lot of different things. It can mean selling. It can be passing through generations, all sorts of things. So that's, really, really interesting. And then the next one was passing on the business to the next generation. And then more back into the business area of expanding in product or service offering. Then we got into some information around government policy and what sort of things that family businesses were looking for from a government perspective. 74% said taxation policies and incentives for family-owned businesses. And that's, again, an interesting one because things like capital gains tax are paid when you transfer the ownership of the business from one generation to the other. And that seems to be a bit incongruous because it's still within the family. So that's one of the things that we talk about quite a bit. Simplified regulatory compliance processes, workforce development and employment schemes, and then access to funding and government-backed loan programs and grants. So they were the 4 questions we picked out that we thought were really interesting with some of the responses.
Yes, it all is very interesting, but are there any sort of overall major patterns that have emerged?
Look, I think family businesses think for the long term. So, particularly when you've got multi-generational businesses. I mean, in Australia, we have some that are sort of 7 or 8 generations, which we don't have many, but we have some. And so if you're 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th generation, you don't think about things in a short-term way. You think about them very much around legacy and long-term and planning and strategy. It's all much longer-term from a multi-generational family business perspective.
So what have you taken away from this? What will your organisation be learning from the survey?
Well, I think it's going to be a great advocacy piece for us, actually, because both at a state and a federal level, we will be able to say this is what family businesses are telling us. And one of the things that we very much need to dissect is what is a business issue which we want to take to the politicians that might align with other chambers of commerce and other more general business stuff. And then we'll carve out what is specifically for family business that we want to talk about and we want to advocate on.
And what sort of things might they be?
So from an advocacy point of view, I touched on capital gains tax. Recently in the lower house, there was the Managed Super Fund superannuation concessions bill. Basically what that means is if you have a self-managed super fund with more than $3 million in it, you will be taxed on unrealised gains. If I go back to how family businesses view things, they've potentially invested in property, for example, and they might have put that into their self-managed super fund. Well, invariably, a property appreciates in value and therefore $3 million is not necessarily a very high bar. So taxing on unrealised gains when you don't have a particularly liquid self-managed super fund is a real problem. And a lot of family businesses have these self-managed super funds. There's certainly others that do as well. So they're the sorts of things that you really need to consider what some of the unintended consequences are from a policy decision as well. So this capital gains tax issue, there's a lot of things that affect the family businesses because they are long-term thinkers.
What does this survey tell you about the differences between family businesses and small businesses in general?
Well, a very good question. This is one of the things that we're really trying to push strongly is family businesses are small, medium and large. Some of the largest Australian businesses are actually family businesses. So instead of aligning only family businesses and small businesses together, small businesses, many are family businesses, but there are many medium and large family businesses as well. So it's about looking at it from a different perspective because the natural assumption is that family businesses are small, and yet in fact they are not. Many of them are not. And the larger ones, interestingly, make an enormous contribution to the community as well. They're very philanthropic, those who have done very well. Small businesses are as well. But if you think of the quantum of the larger businesses and what they put back into communities from a philanthropic point of view, it is very significant. And that's an area that's quite unrecognised, I think.
So if I'm interested in reading this report, where can I find it?
So the report will be available this year. It will be on our website for people to have a look at, and we'll be promoting it quite actively because the more people know and understand about family businesses, then the better they understand how things operate. Interestingly, we have National Family Business Day, which is on the 19th of September every year. And we had a great campaign this year where there were lots of people that got on board supporting the message of family businesses. So the report will be available in the new year on our website, and also just lock in the diary 19th of September every year to really celebrate family businesses.
That's Family Business Australia CEO, Catherine Sayer. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel.